Governor Greg Abbott is now calling for the arrest of more than 50 Texas Democrats who fled their state, hoping to block redistricting efforts. Those Democrats are now declaring an all-out war against the new map, preventing a vote that would give Republicans up to 5 additional seats in Congress. Hello, everyone. This is Outnumbered. I'm Emily Campagno, and here with my co-host, Harris Faulkner. Also joining us today, Ainsley Earhart, Fox & Friends co-host, Dr. Nicole Saphier, Fox News contributor and board-certified physician, and Joey Jones, Fox News contributor, retired U.S. Marine bomb tech, and New York Times best-selling author of Behind the Badge. Now, Governor Abbott is threatening those Dems with the risk of daily fines, among other severe consequences, like felony charges and removal from office. At stake here is control of Congress. The effort to redraw the congressional map in Texas could give Republicans up to 5 seats, giving the GOP an advantage in next year's midterms. Texas House Speaker Dustin Burrows is now signing civil arrest warrants, citing dereliction of duty after dozens skipped off to blue states. But those Dems aren't backing down. Here's a few of them during a press conference in Illinois last hour. Watch.
Right now, there's folks saying that we walked out. And I think everyone behind me will say, we're standing up. And as Texans would say, we're standing tall.
My Republican colleagues in Texas, you wrong for this. You wrong for this. You already have the governor's office. You're the majority in the Senate, the majority in the House. What more do you want?
What we see here happening in Illinois is the fight for our democracy, is the fight for America, and the people standing here today are on the front lines of that fight. These are the fighters for our democracy.
And while Democrats across the country are calling foul over the redistricting efforts in Texas, President Trump is pointing out the hypocrisy.
You know, those blue states that you're talking about. You know, somebody gave a good example. In Massachusetts, I think, 41% of the vote. It's a very, blue state. And yet it's got 100% of Congress, 100%. Did you notice they go to Illinois for safety? But that's all gerrymandered. California's gerrymandered. We should have many more seats in Congress in California. It's all gerrymandered. And we have an opportunity in Texas to pick up 5 seats.
Joey, you and I chatted about this last night, and it's sort of hard to hear someone saying that there's a threat to democracy happening when they are totally abandoning their position of the constitutional duty to actually legislate representing the will of the people.
Yeah, no matter what you make of this, there's no moral authority to be stood on by the Democrats here. I think there are good arguments for and against the redistricting. I think it was Ken Paxton that was just on with Harris and made a great argument I hadn't heard yet about a little bit more detail about the movement of folks within the state and why they felt like it was necessary. I think President Trump's just embracing the idea of, hey, I found a way to get 5 more seats and I'm going to take it, and I appreciate that. That's honesty. So is there an argument against that Democrats can make? Sure. But are they guilty of the same sin? Of course they are. And that's the problem here, is that I don't know that I would be issuing arrest warrants. I think I would let these Democrats kind of seal their own fate, write their own fate. I mean, if I'm Greg Abbott, I guess maybe you're doing it because you actually want to get the vote in, and that actually matters. But as far as the PR campaign of it, it's a lot easier to kind of just sit back and point at the Democrats and say, see who represents you. These are the people that run away from this job.
Right. And Ainsley, so to that point, they tried doing this in 2021 and failed as well. One of the Texas Democrats, Ann Johnson, yesterday talked about how this was an extraordinary feat. Right? We only do this if we must. And then when pointed out, well, you did it in 2021 and it didn't work, she sort of had nothing to say, only other than, well, you can either choose to serve Texans or choose to serve President Trump. But is this the best way to serve Texas?
It's really just political theater, because every state does this. Kathy Hochul, who's now saying, oh, we're going to, what was her quote? We're going to fight fire with fire. And Gavin Newsom said the same thing. Kathy Hochul just did this in this very state 2 years ago. It's called redistricting. And elections have consequences. If you don't like it, then put someone else in office. But the people who are leaders, who are in charge, mainly Republicans in the state of Texas, this is what they want. And they have every right to do this. They do it in Democratic states as well. But these are flood victims that are not getting their legislation, not getting their money. These are people who could property tax relief for the state of Texas. These are elected officials that ran away from their job, and this is what's at stake here. But they will have to come back in 2021. Remember, they went to Washington. They put the case of Miller Lite on the bus with them, and they headed for Washington. They had to come back.
And they came back with COVID.
They did. And the bill passed, and the governor signed it into law. So they're going to have to come back and deal with this.
Right. So that's the thing. When they say, well, this is fighting fire with fire. It's not, right? When some of the valid arguments talk about voter turnout, well, the gerrymandering is sort of seizing on low voter turnout populations in part. Well, then why wouldn't the efforting be to actually foment registration and voting tendencies? Why aren't they there with their sleeves up amongst Texans instead of flitting around for TikTok?
Well, it is, as Ainsley just pointed out, a lot of this is political theater. And at the end of the day, you always see redistricting happening after the U.S. Census, that data comes out. The last time that data came out was 2020. If you look at Texas and the population, since 2020, Texas has gained 1.6 million residents, 2/3 going to those large metro areas that they're talking about redistricting. Delaying the adjustments to the next census to 2031, what's happening is you're going to see underrepresentation of Texans living there right now. The way I see it, and as we heard last hour with Harris on the Faulkner Focus, essentially to redistrict, that's going to ensure the values of the communities who have shaped Texas for generations, that they are not going to be eclipsed by these transient urban population shifts.
Yeah, that's exactly true. So what the Attorney General Ken Paxton was talking about specifically was the fact that the ballooning of the population has been rather transient. I mean, it isn't just a natural progression coming out of people who love Texas. They're escaping California and other blue-lit areas. And so when you get that infused, you want to make sure everybody has representation. But then he reminded us of something that you said, Joey, and that's that Illinois is one of the most gerrymandered places in the Union, in our republic, rather. I mean, that's amazing. And the fact that they would go there and Pritzker would stand up and be bold and be everybody's best friend like he does with illegal aliens because it's a sanctuary city and state. He's giving sanctuary for a different reason. If you don't like the way they are putting Texas together, you can move to Illinois. I hope he means that, because maybe some people will take him up on it. Maybe those Democrat lawmakers will just stay there.
Jasmine Crockett.
Yeah, Jasmine. Well, and she doesn't like redistricting in part because if she decides she's not going to run for Senate, and she may stay a congresswoman, it puts her residents outside the actual district, Texas 30, that she represents. So that's an interesting detail, too.
And Governor Newsom coming out and speaking out against all this, I actually find comical, because in 2023, 133,000 residents moved to Texas. 94,000 of them came from California. They are fleeing Governor Newsom to Governor Abbott's state.
Yeah,
right.
So
well, come on, feel the noise, Illinois, like my T-shirt says. Hey, everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.